Alright everybody, this is Mr. Fugu. You're watching Mr. Fugu Data Science. Today we'll be doing a part 1 of web scraping the United Nations web page. And what we're looking for are the countries who voted for, against, or abstained from any given resolution. Now, all the code will be provided on my GitHub, Mr. Fugu Data Science. If you like this, would like to watch any of my other videos, Mr. Fugu Data Science on YouTube. Let's get started, y'all. So, you're gonna need beautiful soup right here. You can do your trusty old friend, Mr. Pip install, and get that taken care of. You could also do the install on Anaconda, depending on how you have your machine set up. For the first part, we will not be using the PDF or Textract or Selenium. So, you need to do some importing of pandas, request. We won't be doing pickle yet. You need your beautiful soup, regular expressions. Now, let's see what we're going to be looking at. So, we go on to the web page and we say, oh, look at this. A lot of stuff going on here. So, you have the General Assembly of the United Nations, and for any given year, they have a corresponding session number, which is this. And then for each session, we have resolutions that each country votes on. Now, what we're interested in is looking at the archived version right here. But what we need to do is figure out how we're going to start extracting this data. Okay? So that's first, call everything. So we do our response and we'll say, okay, what is this response status? We're saying, let's get this web page and let's print out a status real quick and see what that means. So we'll print the status. It's running it all again. Okay, so we print the status, and 200 means that we're good to go. Everything went without a hitch. Then we say, all right, what is this that I'm calling it? I'm saying I aliased beautiful soup as bsopa. So then I said, okay, let's get the text from that page and let's convert it into an XML file. So let's see what this looks like. And here's what it looks like. Here's all the raw junk. Alright. So we say, okay, from this text, now let's start getting very specific. So then we say, alright, I already opened up the inspector. So when you open up the inspector, I was looking for this resolution part, right? And I had to scroll all the way to the bottom. And this is what we're looking for right here. So it's hidden in this right here, div ID, where we have the div, and then we're looking at a specific class, which is this right here. So then you take that and you put it inside of here. So this is what I just took. So this part is very specific what we needed in here. Alright. So we took that and we put it in and we say, okay, well then what does that even look like? So we get that printout and we say, okay, so we took that div class and we imported everything else in here. But then what do we really need from this? Okay. So you look inside of it and you say, okay, what do we really have inside? We have a header. We have some list. Inside these lists, what do we have? We have an href, which is your link, your hyperlink, going to a resolution. And as you see, it's going to the a 74th resolution. And then you start scrolling down and you say, okay, what's this? Oh, this is a separate link going to something else. So you say, okay, that's fine. So then we say, all right, from there, let's get our A tags. And your A tags are here, which are occupying our links, our web page links. So you say, okay, let's grab all those. So we grab all those, and that's fine and dandy. Then we need to create a parse function to parse our tags for what we're looking for. So I say, okay, let's break this down. So the first part of this, let's do this. Okay. Okay. So the first part, what I did was I said, let's join the strings, which are, here we are, these strings right here, and then let's take our URL link. So we take the string and we get a URL link. Okay. Then what's the next step in this function? So we say, all right, let's parse and take only the keywords, which are the resolutions with the link included. So we say, let's take this, put it in here, unindent, which would be Shift Tab. Perfect. So we say, okay, so we're looping through this. We're using regular expressions, which is taking basically anything up to the point, let's says, okay, let's take from resolutions and anything after it. And then we say, okay, from there, if our pattern is matched with whatever we're iterating through our first string, and saying if that string equals the resolution, then let's append it into a list. So we print that and say, perfect, now we have two resolutions and we have the links for them. Okay, that works. From there, let's fix the web address links because they're incomplete. So I say, okay, let's fix those. See what that looks like. Okay, so now we got the full link. That looks good. Something we could use. Now, let's only take the web address with the general assembly. And we're going to use a greedy version of that. So let's go in here and say, fix this up. See what this looks like. And there we go, we have one. Now, we only needed something with the general assembly because the other ones don't have the data that we need when we're parsing later on. So after we use this big function that I created, but not very intimidating after we break it down, we take that information and we call our fine and dandy function with our tags. We print out what we're looking for. Perfect. So we say, okay, now we need to expand from the first page of the link that we're going to and go to the next one and look at each session year. And so there was an issue that I noticed when we're using the find all method. When we're looking only for this class, you end up having a problem because it's nested and you're only going to take the first list of data. and I'll show you here. So let's go to this page. So what we did basically is we went into this page, and now we're looking for all of these. But when we do inspect, you're going to notice something interesting. So we go in here and we hit this, and you're basically opening this up and going inside the nested form, and then we say, okay, let's look at something. Here we are. Oh, dang it. There. So that is the first list that you look at. And if you only call this right here, you have an issue. That is this. And so to resolve that, you need to step out and figure out where is this thing occupied. So you say, okay, I gotta figure out where is this thing occupied. So you have to go and say, let's take our request and go inside of this page and look at something's going on here. Hold on. Oh, okay, yeah. I see what's going on. If you do only find, you're only looking at one specific thing, and then when you do find all, it creates a list of all of the ones you're looking for, letter relative. So let's look at this. Let's look at both of these examples so then we could have an idea of what is really going on here. Because it was throwing me off. I apologize. I typed this up before. So let's do this. So let's look at this one. Okay, so here we go for this, right? But this is only the first little list, and it doesn't include everything, which is this. So 62nd to 74th, right? 62nd to 74th. But that's not what we want, all right? We want this. And this is every one of those lists. See? This is what we wanted. And by changing that and just taking from the div class and not creating a tag where we're going inside of that and looking at the hrefs, we saved ourselves a lot of headache later. So get rid of this nonsense I don't need. From there, I created a function where I'm saying let's parse the regular sessions page. So we take this information and we need to parse it. And what we're doing is we're saying, all right, let's parse and only take the strings including the years for the session, and then only using the pages with the words research. Using this regular expression, and then we have to match until the first instance, and then we're taking everything that has at least HTTP in a greedy form. So that's what's going on here. So we're finding everything that has a HTTP string. I'm also taking the years, which are from 0 to 9, and we're taking 4, so it's going to be like 2003, 1995, you know, like the 4-digit year. And then we're taking the 2-digit code, which is the session number. So then I iterate through all the web pages, which is this, and then I say, okay, let's take a pattern where we're looking for anything with HTTP and taking everything after that, and then we're stopping when we see the first quotation mark, and then we're saying, okay, from there, let's take everything that has a research, and then after that, let's take that. So we have to say, if we find something in this pattern with a research, let's append this string. Let's extend it where we're just sequentially adding instead of nesting a list with the pattern of HTTP. And then we're returning two separate parameters. One, which is our extended list, which is our web pages we're going to scrape. And then we're creating a list which has our session, year, and our web link. And I could print those off. So this is our web links. Then the year for the session number, that looks kind of long. Is this. So it's year, session number, web page. I created that just because I wanted to. And then what is the last thing? Here. No, that's good. Those are our two parameters. Perfect. So we could look at what's going on here. Here's our web pages. Before we split everything, here's the session. Here's where we need to cut it off because you have the double quotations. Because if you notice, this is a single string, this is a single string, and this is what hangs us up when we're trying to parse it. Okay. We could look at this. I think that'll be self-explanatory because you're just looking through this. Some of them have HTTPS, some of them have here, we'll just do this. So you can see what's going on. So let's first look and see what does I look like. So this is what each one looks like printed individually. We can look at what O looks like. That's all of the strings before they're parsed yet. Then we can say, okay, what does this look like when you're doing it individually? Oh, and then this is web pages. You might need to convert it to a string. There we are. So we say if we're taking the pattern of anything with HTTP, let's grab everything and print it out. If it was HTTPS purely, that'd be Then we say if we're taking anything with research, let's just look at this. Anything that has research in it is printed off and taken. that's what that looks like in a nutshell. So then we have to go from this into another page where we're looking for the volume numbers. So we click on a page, and this page, there's nothing up here for volume because it hasn't been voted on yet. Take care of it, or it hasn't been published, I should say. So you say, alright, where's the data we need now? Where's it going? Oh, it's going to the bottom. And then we say, okay, here's where we need. Stupid thing. Here's where we need right here, is these volumes, because then that's what we have to click on in here and later parse. And later parse out these files, where we're gonna eventually in the next section we're gonna do this. Let's look into this. And so this is one resolution that we're gonna need to parse, where we say we're gonna take the resolution number, we're gonna take in favor, abstain, and against. So we say, okay, let's create a generator to go through all of these one by one. And I couldn't figure out, so I just made up a junk name for my function, and I'm saying, okay, let's take our list of General Assembly pages, let's iterate through those, let's go through each one of those pages, let's do all the same junk we're looking for. This is the particular div class we'll need, and this is the particular class that we're going to need. Then we're going to append those tags and print it out, and then we need to iterate through that, create a list, and show you what that looks like. Take a few seconds, a few years. Let's find out how long. There we are. Perfect. So then we picked up all the junk that we needed to pick up right here, and we say, okay, wonderful. There's a bunch of volumes that we need. Okay, looks like we're getting somewhere. Let's start parsing through this again. So we say, okay, let's take all of the strings, which the HTTPS, and let's go through our list that we just created above. Let's iterate through it. Let's find anything that has HTTP, take everything after it, stop when we find our first quotation, double quotation mark, do an if statement to make our comparison and append it into a new list that we create. Now we have a new list of every single one of the files that has a volume that we can start parsing and getting our information. And that's where we're going to end this first video. The next video we will look at, we'll use a Java integration that we will have to create a Java file, link it with Selenium, and do a callback through Python using Py4j and as well as Selenium to do our PDF parsing. To give you a brief understanding of what's going on here, we'll scroll back up to the top of this junk and say, okay, let's get in here. So we went first there, then we're going and getting all these pages, and then we'll be going into these pages. And where we're stopping today is getting here, because parsing an online PDF is not a straightforward task that we can do, and that's why I need to integrate Java here, where we will use a PDFBOX through Maven. It'll be called PDFBOX Maven, and it'll be made by Apache, and we'll look into that in the next video. So thanks for watching, and as always, please leave a like, provide a comment for any material you would like me to cover, or if you have any questions. And if you can, subscribe and turn on your notification bells. Have a good one, everybody, and I appreciate you watching this video. Have a good one.